Hi everyone, Kelt here. Having watched the unveiling of Diana's statue live yesterday, I was very aware of Prince William keeping Harry basically at arm's length and remaining professional throughout. He made sure to chat to Harry on walking out into the sunken garden at Kensington Palace, and he made sure that the cameras caught him briefly smiling, even though it was sort of half a smile, while he was talking to Harry. He was obviously finding it difficult and was, in my opinion, making it look as if he was being friendly but keeping him very much at a distance, emotionally as well as physically. They had to walk together, but it was obvious that Harry was trying hard to get William to laugh or give something that could be captured by the paparazzi and then put out by them to say, look, they've reconciled, all is well. But I doubt that there is one still from the video or one photo that would make it look as if William might have softened towards Harry. I was trying to listen to what they were saying as they came out when I was watching, but I couldn't hear quite what they were saying, so I thought that will come out anyway. The media will put it out what they were actually saying. There were times when William had his back turned to Harry, which was quite significant, I think. When they walked over to talk to people, William would walk ahead to talk to someone, leaving Harry talking to someone else. Whenever Harry tried to walk over to be with William, William would walk over and talk to someone else. So yeah, it was obviously very difficult for William, but he handled it really well professionally. What I did notice, and what stood out to me, was at the unveiling. Shortly after the green cloth was removed from the statue, Harry was animated and excited and almost leapt towards William with his arms open, as if expecting a hug or some sort of physical contact with William, as a way to show that they were united in this. He took a couple of steps forward and it was very much an open gesture. William just stood his ground and didn't make any move towards Harry at this point, so it was leaving Harry looking as if his open gesture was rejected. All this was barely a second or two, but I noticed it. It really stood out to me. I don't blame William. It was not the place nor the time for them to hug in front of the world's media. It would be showing Harry and Meghan and their followers that everything was okay and that William had put everything aside. After the shocking alleged things which Harry's wife had said in front of witnesses, which have probably made the Cambridges more aware of their safety, then it was very unrealistic for Harry to expect anything else from William at this event. Harry was like an excited, enthusiastic puppy following William at one point, and I felt that he was desperate for a spontaneous hug to show the media that all is good. But he obviously couldn't grab William, as the rejection would have made him look awkward. Instead, it seemed to me as if Harry was waiting for William to let down his guard briefly, and it didn't happen. The point where they were looking at the statue, and I think that Harry was hoping to use that moment to get closer to William, and Diana's sister immediately moved in between them. I think she was primed to look out for a possible moment where Harry might try and get close, and it was perfect timing. It's sad if Harry feels rejected, but that was not the place nor the time for reconciliation, in my opinion. After all that has happened, any hug should be in private. As soon as the cloth came off, I was relieved that the statue was not Diana on a bench, as that would have been too much with all the talk of Meghan's book, The Bench, and all her interviews sitting on a bench, etc. And I think many of us were relieved. I was also relieved that it wasn't some weird, wacky sort of art that you wouldn't be able to even interpret it as being a person, let alone Diana. So my first reaction was that it was a lovely statue, and thank goodness she wasn't on a bench. In retrospect, and having looked at it a little more, I was a little disappointed that it was not Harry and William as the children, but I understand there was probably a reason for this, and a reason why there were three, but the proportions are completely out, even allowing for artistic license. The children, especially the girl, has a head and face which is way too small compared to Diana. When a child is about 5, their head is the size that it's going to be as an adult. And when a child is a young child, as they are supposed to be, their features are closer together. They don't look, those children have faces which could be a teenager or even an adult. So that's definitely not happening in this statue. So it leaves the children, like I said, looking like teenagers out of context. or with a giant woman who looks quite masculine. I'm being quite harsh here, but I'm being honest. There are many things which don't feel right about it, but I don't want to tear it apart, because as an artist myself, I know that constructive criticism is one thing, but when you produce a piece of art, it is a piece of you, and it is like giving birth almost. And to have someone or people tearing it apart and criticising it, it's like somebody looking at your baby and finding fault in it. I think that those that said it would have looked better in marble were right. It would have looked lovely if it was in white marble. Also, it would have been perfect if Diana had been crouching with the children and interacting with them in the way we remember she always did. Instead, she looks as though she's trying to restrain two alien children or cyborgs who are trying to get away and don't really know quite where they're going. But in general, it looks so much better than many statues of Diana already out there in various countries. And at first sight, I thought it was beautiful. I personally would have loved to have seen a statue of her with a long gown, with that smile on her face looking like we remember, or crouching down with the children. And maybe if it was Harry and William, it would have been lovely. But I think it was done with these three other children because it showed that it wasn't about Harry and William, and it wasn't even about Diana alone as much as her love for all children. So I understand, I think, why it was three random children. The grey, I think, will look good in time as it ages, but right now it does have a sort of ghostly look about it, especially the children. It reminds me of these statues of angels in graveyards, not in a bad way, as I have previously taken photographs of some in order to paint them, as I think they're quite beautiful. This had that sort of look, slightly spooky but mesmerising. I also think that the face does resemble Diana, especially if you screw up your eyes slightly. So, from a distance, I think it has great impact. There is one question I will leave you with. Why have a statue made of a loved one at the age they would have been if they had lived? Think about it. William and Harry had asked the sculptor to make the statue as Diana would have been now at 60 years of age. Why? If your loved one dies and you have a statue made, you would have it at the age that that person was, either when they passed away or younger, especially younger if they were an elderly person, but never would you make the person older. Imagine taking a photograph of your loved one who is passed and photoshopping it with an app to make them look older and then publishing it so the whole world sees them as older. Doesn't really make sense. I have my thoughts on this. Would love to hear yours. Let me have your comments and I'll see you in the next one. Please subscribe, ding my bell for more alerts for more videos, like if you liked it and share. Bye.